The Neolithic Revolution was defined by V. Gordon Childe, and V. Gordon Childe said that it contains or is marked by the domestication of plants and animals, the achievement of a sedentary way of life, and the existence of exponential population growth. And those ingredients are all things that we see in the Southwest.
The Village Ecodynamics Project is studying one example of this process in the U.S. Southwest. And our hope is that the things that we are learning about the social and technological changes that are required for a society to take advantage of technological innovations like the emergence of farming will be helpful for our present-day world, where we are, in a sense, in the throes of figuring out how to deal with radically new forms of information technology, where we can communicate with each other in dramatically different ways than we ever have been able to before.
I'm hoping that the Village Project can indeed help us understand what happens in Neolithic societies in general. In many places of the world, for example in the Near East and Europe, as people begin to domesticate plants and animals, their populations grow quickly in size and the political organization changes very quickly as well. We have a very important advantage in this area over other places that have undergone this so-called Neolithic demographic transition. And that is that we have tree ring dating, we have a very complete survey record, we have a lot of excavation. So we have the opportunity to see that process in much more detail here than in many other places of the world.
Something that's really interesting to me when I think about the Neolithic Revolution and how it played out in our two study areas is that Pueblo people had actually been farming for over 1,000 years before they moved into our study areas. So it appears it took more than just the introduction of agriculture to trigger the settlement of our two study areas. And when we look at Pueblo society, one thing we see is that in addition to this invention of this new way of life, corn farming, there were several other innovations that came together between about AD 1 and AD 600. This includes the introduction of a new kind of corn. The first corn was a popcorn that you roasted, and this was replaced by a flour corn that you actually ground into a meal and that was probably more nutritious. Also, beans are introduced into the diet for the first time. And with beans in this new flour corn, they needed a new cooking technology, and pottery began to be used for the first time. In addition, the bow and arrow replaces the spear and atlatl as the primary implement for hunting and warfare during this same period. It also included the invention of public architecture, great kivas, which probably included a new type of ceremonial practice that occurred in these buildings. Now, those ceremonies may have been really important for integrating the diverse linguistic groups that comprise the Pueblo world and help create a more integrated and shared Pueblo Indian culture. So the VEP has helped us understand that the Neolithic Revolution was more than just the transition from hunting and gathering to agriculture. Instead, it looks like this transition to domesticated food production also stimulated a whole range of new inventions that changed the social, political, and economic organization of this society. And what's really interesting to me about this transition that we call the Neolithic Revolution is that it laid the foundation for almost all societies that are on Earth today.